shopping here at the yard store. Surplus metal, time to build a trans mount. On today's episode of Watch JR Go, the deadline inches ever closer to Cleetus and Cars 215 in Houston. So let's get back to work on the 1979 Rolls Royce Silver Wraith 2. What is going on, guys? I am Watch JR Go, and today we are back here with the car, and I mean, things are kind of inching along at this point. We're doing all these little things, and it doesn't seem like we're getting a lot done. But honestly, we're getting like massive amounts done. We're so much closer to starting this car. I think we're gonna be able to start it next week. And you know, we've got the harness in, as you saw in the last video, the intake's on. Today, we're gonna build some radiator hoses, and then we're gonna lower the diff and do a little work on that bad boy. We're gonna need to see if it's an open diff or not. And if it is, I think we're gonna have to do a little welding inside the diff, because you can't get a locker for the thing, and we don't wanna do one tire fires. So let's get to it. The guys at ICT Billet had a great idea. We need custom radiator hoses. Obviously, no one makes anything for the application that we're trying to do here. They gave us some of their billet couplers, which we have hiding right there. And we have here the Gates Power Grip heat shrink hose clamps. And they said just slide this over. So yeah, exactly what Josh did there. You crush the cardboard, pull it out, and then slide the clamp on. Fire up the heat gun, and it's supposed to shrink and hold it together forever. And, oh, can we turn it? We can turn it. Hide all the letters. Trying.
Sorry, Gates.
So I'll throw a link to these in the description below, because it's very interesting. And I watched the how-to video on this too, because I didn't really believe it could work. And apparently it's amazing, and it shrinks down as it cools and stuff like that.
Am I doing it right?
Yeah, nailed it. Just slide it over, make sure you got a coupler in there, and heat it up. And you can actually use these to replace your hose clamps. You can just put them on the end, slide on one of these power grips, and you're good. You can cut them back off. They're $5. It looks better than any worm clamp.
It does. You can actually see it start to shrink.
Yeah, it sure looks like it's starting to shrink.
Starts to contour that.
And I think it also continues to shrink when the engine comes up to temp. Anyway, we're gonna finish this up, and we should have really pretty custom radiator hoses. What we ended up doing was buying 2 Gates 23 154s that we just picked up at O'Reilly's, and then we just cut them up and rotated them to fit.
It's already clamped.
Is it already good?
Already cooled down enough for me to handle.
I like how that thing is impossible to get off that hose barb.
Don't even need a clamp for that.
Yeah. So there is our completed radiator hose. It looks awesome. I can temporarily put that thing on there. And we just went ahead and put on our hose. We're just using fuel line because, I mean, fuel line's crazy strong anyway for the overflow. And that's just a 1/4-inch hose, and it's hidden underneath this piece here. We had to build a little custom brass fitting that wasn't supposed to fit in there. We had to drill that out a little bit and make it work. So we've got a little bit more to do on the radiator. Tomorrow I'm going to drill out this hollow aluminum section here and bolt the fan shroud on, because I don't want to do it with self-tapping screws. We want to do it right. So we want it to be really good and solid. So 4 more bolts going in the fan shroud, and that should wrap that up. And this Gates hose clamp here, one of our power grips, did not fit. So I'm gonna run back to O'Reilly's tomorrow, maybe return that one. We might just use it anyway because it's cool to use as a clamp. I just need to get one that fits this. Converter bolt time. You ready for a little more bump?
Yeah.
So we got...
Get turned.
Tell me if I'm overshooting there. So I've got a 15/16 on the balancer, and Josh is Loctiting all these converter bolts and tossing them in as I rotate the engine. We also have all the plugs out to make life easy, mostly because we have new plugs.
A little more. Right.
So the 4L80 has 6 converter bolts instead of 3, like all the little transmissions. So we don't have to move very far to get to each bolt. That's something. Just did the oil change too. Check out that Wix XP oil filter, and trans dipstick just went in too. Here we go. I'm gonna do one big pull.
Ooh, hold up, right there.
I was like, I probably nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Spun it so fast, I heard compression coming out of one of the spark plug holes.
Coming under the back of the car here. We just pulled the drain plug out of the diff. I'm getting that drained down. Weirdly, this fluid smells either new or not like gear oil.
It smells really suspect.
Very suspect.
Too good.
Too good. So Josh is pulling the drive shaft back off. Ooh, that moved a lot, huh?
That did some things.
Yeah, things moving around. So we got this drive shaft all in, and we think it was pretty ready to go. But now we're going to add our locker. Luckily, there's a close by fab shop that builds lockers for Rolls Royces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old Lincoln locker. You might know this.
That's a Miata drift build. That's what.
We looked around and, nobody sells
Rolls Royce lockers.
limited slip diff or a locker. Eaton hung up on us.
Yep.
Just kidding, we didn't call them. When I saw one wheel spinning when I did this, I knew we had a problem.
Yeah, now they're... Oh, nope, no, it stopped.
Trying.
It's trying.
But we can't go to a burnout competition and lay a one-wheel peel.
That's true.
That's embarrassing.
Sure is. Time to go bigger. Look at these axle shafts, though.
Beefy.
Large. 1.3 inches or something.
Independent rear suspension in 1979.
Yep.
That's what you're paying for, I guess.
The ride.
Hey, buddy, come on in.
Look at that, the diff's open. So... Oh yeah, you're right. There isn't really a good way to get in that thing, is there?
There's another hole on the other side, but...
We'd have to, tear the rear end out, and then we could fill it.
Yeah.
Huh.
Not what I was planning on doing.
Nope. We'd have to take out those carriers. What a nightmare. Wire feed. Put all the wire in it.
Yeah, there's that.
You gotta start at the back, though. You can't hit anything else.
Yeah, I don't honestly have another suggestion.
I don't either.
Except just spray it out heavily with brake clean.
And send it.
Over and over and over again. And
Yeah.
let it dry overnight.
Yep.
So it's not going to contaminate the welds too bad.
Maybe this is some kind of common rear end and we could find a locker? Probably not in time.
No. Because then we'd have to shim it. Probably new bearings and seals.
Mm-hmm.
And it would turn into a 10-layer onion. And you'd wrap up $1,000 or more in it.
True. It'll be $500 for a locker, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think about the price of the locker.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the price of the bearings and shims and gaskets, and I say we just hose it out.
All right.
And then start filling it up with the old spool.
Let's do it. After much cleaning, Josh grabbed the locking diff creator here, and it looks like it's time to fill this thing with metal.
The wire spooled locker. We did a little test bead on the carrier here just to make sure it was weldable, and it held a bead really nice. We tried to break it off with a hammer and a punch, and it won't move. So proceeding.
Will not move. No. Josh just took the welding torch, shoved it inside the little hole, and is just letting it eat. It'll work.
Give me some more wire speed.
How much?
1 digit.
1 digit.
Getting so much heat going in here.
That thing is absolutely solid.
Show me before and after.
I think we have, this before.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a before, large hole, and here's an after with the locker locked up.
And about a half a pound of welding wire.
Yeah, no doubt. Wow. It took what? 15 minutes of wire, probably?
It's probably 10 minutes. Yeah.
At least.
I'm probably gonna have a sunburn in my arm.
Little cleanup action right here. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's pretty. The tolerances in this diff are super tight. The test weld, which was maybe like that tall, well, we just had to grind all that back flush because it wouldn't turn all the way around. Small setback. We had a pretty big fire. The welder, like, first weld on the other side, boom! And I mean, the entire giant metal tray there lit on fire, and everything inside the diff just kept burning. We burnt through that microfiber too, trying to put it out. But yeah, we got it right out. Flipped the pan over and, put the diff cover on. It's probably still burning inside there, we just don't know it. Well, this may be one of the most beautiful welded diffs of all time. Take a look. Oh, yeah. Super nice, all cleaned out and everything. So now, we're gonna go grab some Motul Gear 300. I got a couple bottles of that. I think it needs about 3 quarts, maybe 2 quarts, something like that, and put the cover on. We're gonna put some RTV around the cover so it doesn't leak, and yeah, time to fill this diff. It's done. And the diff cover's on with a little RTV in there. We put a few bolts in it to squish the RTV out and make sure it sets up properly. That should be good in the morning. Now that the diff is all welded up, we've got the diff carrier, and look at that, it's cracked. So our game plan here is to go get some plate, and then we're going to clean this all up. I'll grab a wire wheel, clean it up really well tomorrow. Then we're going to stitch that on all the way across with, we're gonna actually drill it out and then weld it all the way across this whole thing, because we need a lot of surface area to make sure the diff carrier is supported. It's a pretty important piece of the rear end of this car. So it's cracked on the top and the bottom. That's just how we got the car. Nothing we did to it. We actually saw the crack the first time we got under it, and we were like, that's not great, but the diff cover bolts hold it together. And I do think the diff cover bolts will hold it together forever. I doubt this thing ever breaks anymore, but we might as well fix it. It's out of the car. We need it to be strong. So we'll get that all welded up, paint it black again. You can see I cleaned it up a little bit. It was painted black from the factory. As soon as that's back together, I can go fill this with my Motul Gear 300. And I've been bringing over Motul Multi-ATF to fill our trans, and RBF 660 so we can have the greatest brake fluid inside this thing. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching Project Rolls Smoke. We're getting closer and closer and closer. It may not seem like we're doing much, but we are really, really, really doing a lot. I also terminated the AN line for the fuel line in the back. We went ahead and pulled out the slack of the nitrous lines. We mounted some battery cables tonight. We did a lot. So the main battery supply is mounted to a little box that we have, a junction box from the CTS-V harness, and that's connected to the starters. We've got the starter in, starter powers in, torque converter bolts went in, a ton of stuff went in today, even the trans dipstick. So the transmission is basically finished. Oh, I should mention, we've got a trans cross member. Josh built the whole thing. What am I doing? I'm trying to kill the video here. And you guys need to be taking a look at that right there, that brand new trans cross member. We built it out of some tubing, that tubing we grabbed this morning from the yard store, and it's got saddle mounts onto the frame. The brake master's in. I mean, most of the bottom of the car is together. The diff was one of our big things. So once the diff's done, just brakes and like 10 wires, and this car can run and drive, honestly. So hopefully that happens. Hopefully we've got wheels back tomorrow. Now we can end the video. Thank you guys so much again for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.watchjayrgo.com, where you can pick up awesome shirts like this, and the Roll Smoke shirts, I mean, they're coming. We'll probably get them done about the time the car is done, so you guys can rep it when we're getting ready to head down to Houston. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. So that fire was pretty cool. It was all over the garage door, and we did a little cleaning on the garage door. It was a big mess. It turns out, so the CRC brake clean, not flammable, and we used this, and then we finally ran out, and we grabbed some other brake clean, and the fire started. Non-flammable. The other stuff, the AutoZone stuff, gigantic fire. It was huge, ridiculous. I wanted to grab the camera, but we were running like it was a real fire. Super bonus content. I went shopping today. I got a reasonable deal on this. It's the Fuel 3/8 ratchet, and I'm so happy to have this. If every fastener that you can't get with the impact, you always want this. And I was like, you know what? Let's go get it. We need it. So I wish I had the 1/2 inch too. We're gonna need a few more of these bad boys. Josh wants the 1/4 inch too, because a lot of the times that you need air ratchets and powered ratchets, you know, brushless ratchets and stuff like that, it's when you're working on a screw that you can only get your fingers on, right? Even with a whole bunch of swivels and stuff like that, you just can't get the right tool in there. Those ratchets get the job done. So it would be nice to have a really, really small one, like a 1/4 inch. So maybe if Milwaukee fuels that, we'll go ahead and pick up one of those too. I kind of want the 1/2. We're also thinking about how hard that 1/2 can hit. It could probably snap your wrist.